The grand house was silent, save for the soft hum of the vacuum cleaner downstairs. Upstairs, in the master bedroom's walk-in closet, a little girl held her breath, her small fingers clenched around a stub of crayon. She was trying so hard to be invisible, to be quiet, to not be a burden. And downstairs, the owner of the house, Mr. Alastair Thorne, was about to climb the stairs, completely unaware that his quiet, orderly world was moments away from being forever changed. Mr. Alastair Thorne lived alone in the sprawling, beautiful home he had once shared with his family. He was a successful man, a millionaire many times over, but his wealth felt more like an echo in those empty rooms. He valued quiet, routine, and discretion above all else. For 3 years, his house had been kept in impeccable order by Alina, a gentle and efficient woman who came every Tuesday and Thursday. She never spoke unless spoken to. She left no trace of herself behind, and she was, in his view, the perfect employee. What Mr. Thorne did not know was Alina's world. She was a single mother to a bright-eyed 7-year-old named Sophia. Their life was a delicate balancing act of long bus rides, a small apartment that always felt too cold, and a fragile network of kindnesses from neighbors. That Thursday, that network had broken. Sophia's usual after-school caretaker had fallen ill, and Alina, with no family to call and no one else to trust, faced an impossible choice. Miss a day of work and risk not being able to pay the rent, or bring Sophia along and hope against hope she wouldn't be discovered. "Please, mi Silito," Alina whispered, kneeling before Sophia in the kitchen entrance that morning. "You must stay right here in this little room. Do not move. Do not make a sound. Read your book. Draw your pictures. Be my little mouse, okay? If Mr. Thorne sees you, he will be very angry. He might let Mama go." Sophia, her eyes wide with understanding far beyond her years, nodded solemnly and promised. For the first hour, all was well. Alina worked quickly, her ears straining for any sound from the study where Mr. Thorne was on a conference call. Sophia sat perfectly still, coloring a picture of a sunny garden. But then, the unthinkable happened. Mr. Thorne ended his call early and decided to go upstairs to retrieve a file from his bedroom. Hearing his heavy footsteps on the stairs, a wave of pure panic washed over Alina. In a split-second decision, she scooped Sophia up, rushed into the master bedroom, and gently guided her into the large, walk-in closet. "Not a sound, my love," she breathed, her voice trembling with fear before softly closing the door. From inside the dark closet, Sophia heard the door to the bedroom open. She heard Mr. Thorne's firm steps. She pressed her hands over her mouth, her heart pounding like a tiny bird's. In her fear, she sought comfort in the only way she knew. She turned over the paper she'd been clutching and began to draw again, the crayon moving quietly in the dark. Mr. Thorne entered his room, heading straight for his filing cabinet. As he pulled out the drawer, something crinkled under his polished leather shoe. He looked down. It was a small, well-used blue crayon. He frowned, bending to pick it up. Confusion turned to a slow-building irritation. Then his eye caught the sliver of light from his slightly ajar closet door. He never left it open. He walked over and pulled the door open. And there, curled between his suits, was a little girl. She looked up at him, her face pale, her eyes filled with tears she was bravely holding back. In her lap was a drawing. She didn't speak. She just slowly, hesitantly held the paper up to him, as if offering an explanation. Mr. Thorne took it. The drawing was simple but detailed. It showed a big, beautiful house. In front of it stood 3 figures. A tall man in a brown suit, a woman in a maid's uniform holding a cleaning cloth, and between them a little girl holding both their hands. Above them, Sophia had written in careful, wobbly letters, "My wish, a family for the lonely house." He stared at the drawing. He looked from the hopeful, fearful lines on the paper to the hopeful, fearful face of the child in his closet. He saw the love in the details, the flowers she'd drawn by the doorstep, the son with a smiling face. And in that moment, the rigid walls he'd built around his heart, walls of routine and isolation, began to crack. The house wasn't just lonely for her. It had been lonely for him, too. He thought of his own daughter, grown and living across the country, of the quiet dinners of the echoes. This child saw what he had refused to acknowledge. His stern expression softened. He knelt down, coming to her eye level. His voice, when he spoke, was unfamiliar to him, gentle. "Hello," he said. "My name is Alastair. What's yours?" "Sophia," she whispered. "It's very nice to meet you, Sophia. This is a beautiful wish." He tapped the drawing. Just then, Alina appeared in the doorway, her face ashen, her hands pressed together in a plea. "Mr. Thorne, I am so sorry, please. It was my fault. She was no trouble. Please don't." "Alina," he interrupted, standing up. He looked from the mother's terrified face to the daughter's brave one, still holding the drawing. It seems I have been an inattentive host. I believe we have a guest, and it's well past time for tea. That afternoon, the quiet, lonely house was filled with a new sound. The gentle clink of teacups and the soft, unfolding conversation of three people. Mr. Thorne learned about their struggles, their long bus rides. He saw the fierce love between mother and daughter, and an idea, as gentle and sure as the dawn, began to form in his mind. The following week, Elena was not just offered a raise. She was offered the renovated, sunny apartment above the garage so she and Sophia could be close and safe. Sophia found a new after-school routine, doing her homework at the large kitchen table, often showing her drawings to Mr. Thorne, who had proudly framed the first one and placed it on his desk. The house was no longer lonely. It was filled with the scent of Elena's cooking, the sound of Sophia's laughter in the garden, and the quiet, growing warmth of a chosen family. Mr. Thorne had found more than a drawing in his closet that day. He had found a reason to open his heart again. Sometimes the most profound truths are not shouted, but whispered in crayon on a piece of paper, waiting in the dark to be found. Share this story if it reminded you that family can appear in the most unexpected places. Ellie accepted, not for herself but for others. Today, she runs a food program that feeds thousands. Subscribe for more stories that warm the heart and restore faith in humanity.